Good morning, everyone. Sheila here in Boho Daydreams, and welcome to my channel. It is a beautiful morning. It was so cold this morning, and then I got a little fire going here, and now it's beautiful sunshine outside. I've placed my black pieces that I dyed last night outside to dry because it's absolutely gorgeous. So in a bit, I'm going to open up my windows and just let the fresh air waft in along with the dust. But that doesn't matter because it's such a hot mess in here that I won't notice that. And it'll just kind of freshen it up a little bit, maybe distract me from the mess I have going on. So I'm not actually hand ready to do this tutorial, but I've had a lot of requests for it. When I was in North Carolina, I had brought some pieces of silk that I had dyed, and I dyed it in the different colors, different shades. So it would kind of be a dimensional pink tassel. And so I brought the bits and pieces along to do that, and there were a lot of requests for a tutorial. And then yesterday, I prepared this one because I found this bead in my personal stash. I found that, and I thought, oh, that'll match perfect with the seaside package that I've just dyed. And it's a little bit hard to see here, the true color, but this is more of a very pale seaside, kind of like sea glass. And it's really long. It's long because I have some requests for these. I have actually a few requests. And so this was one that I had made for that request. But it got scooped up very quickly when I posted it. And so I'm making more. So I thought I would do a tutorial because apparently my dyed hands look like working girl hands. So I was told it's okay to make the tutorial. And I've been dyeing black and woodland and royal blue. And so my nails are not video ready. They never are. But so I'm going to apologize right now because they look terrible. I already cut them down as far as I could, but before they start bleeding. But I can't scrub that blue out of the cuticles no matter what I do. And I've shampooed them a lot of times already. So it is what it is. So I'm going to pop up my information. I'm Sheila Ginrich at scoghill4@gmail.com. Facebook group is Boho Daydreams, and I'm going to link that in the description box. Some of you will know me as Sheila Coghill, so I go by either. In Facebook, I'm Sheila Ginrich. Everywhere else, you'll probably notice my email, Coghill, is for Sheila Coghill. So just getting that out there. So what I'm going to do is set up my table and show you what I use to create these because they're very soft, and I cut them so long so that whoever gets them can cut them to size, and then you can use those pieces in your journals, in your little sweet pea minis like this, these little books. This is a commission that I'm working on. These little books, they only take little pieces. And like here, that's just a little piece of silk. And you can use that for decorating all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to be back. First, we're going to go through what I use here and what you'll need to find in your supply kit. And then I'll be back. All right, I am back. So the pieces that I use are no different than what I do for my bead dangles. And so that I'm actually going to link in the description box because I have a video that tells you where I find these things. So what you'll need is to get yourself out your tools. So you'll need the rounded needle nose pliers, And this here one is a little more on the pricey side because I do a lot of dangles and wire work. So I needed something that was a little more hand friendly. And as soon as I can figure out how to link these things, I'm going to. Then you'll need your little wire cutters. And you'll also need your flat nosed pliers. And when you look for a pliers like this, make sure in here it's smooth. And these ones I think were a set of 3 from Michael's, and I got them like so long ago. I'm actually going to be looking for a nicer set, more like this set, because it'll just be more hand friendly. As you can see, this one here looks like it's been through the fire because it has. I used to solder a lot of stuff. I loved playing with solder and melting silver wire. And so that went into the fire too. All right, so you'll need some wire. And I use 20 gauge wire. I love this stuff. This stuff is very hand friendly also. I recently purchased some stainless steel wire. And don't do that. Don't get stainless steel wire. That stuff is so hard, it doesn't bend. So I don't know what I'm ever going to use it for. I'm sure I'll find something to use it on, but it's not going to be on my tangles. You'll need your selection of findings. And I love to use these little metal elliptical spacer beads. I also love, and I'm almost out of these little rondelles. They're the sequined rondelles. Whoops, sorry. Excuse the fingers. You can really see. So I love those. I use a lot of those. These are little metal beads. And I think these are 3mm beads or 2.5. I have all different sizes, but for this project, I'm only going to use these. Also, you'll need some of your daisy spacer beads, and I stick all of mine together. I've got the rose gold in there, the deep gold, all the different colors because I use all the different colors. Then you'll also need some of the jewels. And these things are optional. You don't even have to do any of this. You don't have to use any of this to make them. But it just kind of adds a little sparkle on the top. You're going to need some bead caps. And I found a bunch of my bead caps when I was kind of cleaning up stuff. So I have a bunch. I love these. These are so tiny. I think I'm going to probably make some smaller tassels at some point in time. But I don't know what I was thinking when I got these monsters. I don't know. Anyway, these are the ones that we're going to be using. And last but not least, you'll need some beads. And so I grabbed a couple of bead strands because I don't know which one I'm going to want to use. So I just grab whatever I have in my own personal collection. And we're going to go from there. I'm going to request that you do not ask me where I have purchased my beads from, because I make strands of beads for crafters, and I find that people will still ask me. They don't care that I do that. They still want to know where I buy them from, and I find that a little bit disrespectful, because we don't go to places that we love to shop and ask them where they get their things that they source for us. So I'm going to ask you to respect that. Okay? All right, I'm going to be back with the textiles, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, I am back. So the first thing that I did is I love my tassels to hang. I like them to be flowy. I like them soft. I don't like them over floofy. So I work with fabrics and textiles that are super, super soft. So for the seaside one, for this, that's what I did. And that's why it just kind of hangs flowy like that. So what I used is I found some of my, it's just threads, but they had some silver intertwined into them. So I found those, and a lot of this stuff I've had for a million years because I went to thrift shops and I found them because I love the color. I love the color, so that's where I got these. I love this. It's so soft and the color is so seaside. So I have some of that. Now I'm going to, in the next one, I will be using some of the organza. I found that. So this is just regular organza ribbon, and I'm not sure where I got that from. And it's annoying because it won't stay on its roll. And this I know I got at Joann's. And it's beautiful. It's kind of like a linen. But if I tear it in half, which is what I would do, it will curl up a little bit and it'll look so pretty. But I do iron things a little bit. It depends what it is. Oh my goodness. Can't get that back in there. That'll also just fall apart on me. So here are the silks. And I've dyed them in shades. And I didn't use the deep seaside because I didn't have it available for that one. And I don't know if I'll put it in, but I might. So all the different shades of silk is what I did. And then I just tear them really super thin, maybe not even half an inch, maybe 3/8 or less. I also look for, you know, those old scarves. My mom used to wear scarves like this all the time. So I found a piece of this, so I'm going to use that in the next one. Then I also found, a long time ago, I found a whole bolt of this tulle, and it is so soft. I think that it'll work perfectly. And if it doesn't, I'll just take it out. And then, oh my goodness, I'm always fighting threads. And then I found some of this. This is mine, but I do have the rest of the scarf somewhere. Tearing off bits of this, strips of this, will work perfect for that. So I have to find that. So that is what I looked for the seaside. Then for the pink was a little bit the same, but a little bit different. So I found this, and so the next one that I'm making, I have several pinks that I need to make, but one of them is just a soft pink. So it will, which is the one that we're going to make. So it'll have some of this. This works beautifully. So I have this in the two colors, gold and beautiful pink. It just kind of like sits there and kind of just shines a little bit. I found this in my box. So soft. And then some of this is kind of like that seaside color. Yep, it's been sitting there for a while. So soft. And I also found some eyelash trim in ivory. It's amazing that I have this stuff because I went and gave it all to Goodwill not long ago because I was destashing. Couldn't stand my mess any longer, and I gave it all away. All right, so then also I went into my textiles to look for pieces, and I found this scarf. And it doesn't have a lot because it's got this on it. It's beautiful. when I noticed I had used it, then I just went and ripped the side off of it so I could make long strands that way. So I have some of this. This lace is fairly soft, so I'm going to see if it works in here. If it doesn't, then it won't go into this. I just want really, really soft, flowy pieces. I found some white. This is the end of a sari. This is the kind of stuff I always tie your packages up with. So I have some of that. I found a little piece of this. I think this came from Randy. So I found a little piece of that. And then I have the different shades of ivory. This was from the Angel package. So I have some of, ooh, ouch, ouch. I have some shades of the pink. This one here is a bit mottled. You can't really see it. So it gives a little ombre effect. So I'm going to use that. I have some seam binding. That was for a package, but I used up everything, and this is what was left over. And I'm ripping it, tearing it in half, because I don't want a big piece of seam binding. So I'm tearing that in half. And I'm tearing everything that can be torn, because I love, love, love the edge that it gives me, the edge. So this is a little bit too dark, but this is part of the shades. And then there is the beautiful different shades, right? I also used some embroidery floss in a really light shade of pink. And then here is more textiles. I think this is another tie, piece of tie that came from an ivory set, but the ivories are just all a little bit different. This is a super, super soft underskirt to a dress that was sitting here. And it's cotton, and look at how it tears. It tears beautifully. And it's so soft. So I'm using that. I can't find my batiste, so I'm not using that. And then there's this, and this is like the batiste, but it's a little bit different yet because it's patterned. This is super, super soft. So we'll be using some of that too. So I'm going to clean this up, and then I'm going to come back with bits that I have already torn and stuff that I do need to tear. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. I love to lay everything out like this so I can tell what I have already cut, what I might need more of, etc., etc. So I have, here's the seam binding, and I had ironed it. So as you can see, it's ripped in half. It rips really, really nicely. Here's my different shades of the pink. And I'm sorry, I don't know if it's just so bright that, no, that doesn't help. That doesn't help either. If you can actually see the differences in color, because I can. There's all sorts of shades there. Then I have some pieces that I tore. I think that might be this pink, the pink with the pattern on it. I have another piece there in case I need it. This here is from the underskirt, and then there are the pieces of embroidery floss, the fibers, etc. There's some of this. And then this here is from that scarf that I tore. And I didn't iron it because I really like the way it tore. So that's really pretty. And so right now I'm going to take and grab my wire, straighten it out a bit, and I'm going to snip off, let's see, what am I snipping here? Snip enough, because you never know what kind of beads you're going to add to the top, right? You can add any kind of beads you want. Those beautiful big beads, those monster looking beads, they look gorgeous on top of tassels. So I'm going to cut about 6 inches like that, and then get rid of that. So this is now ready for us. All right, so Now it's just a matter of putting it together where you want your colors. Oops, oops. I have not torn any of the ivory. This isn't the silk. I'll be right back. Okay, I went and tore some of the piece of sari that I always wrap your packages in. So I tore some of that. Let's see, excuse my hand. So I'm going to pop that over here. And then I tore some silk, some ivory silk. I'm going to pop that over. Oh, it's a little bit long. That's a little bit long. I'm just going to kind of cut that a little bit. It's kind of gone up on itself too. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to cut that in half. I'm running out of space. I usually do this in my larger area. Oops, sorry about that noise. Okay. Oh, I should have been more organized. So we got that. And then I also grabbed some of that really soft lace. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I just want to have it handy because it is really soft. And if it's soft enough, then it will work very, very well in the tassel. All right, so I have my piece of wire cut because that's important because it's going to lay this way. All right, so now I just start picking up pieces because I like to have them peekabooing. So let's start with this. Yep, there's lots and lots and lots of threads. I sometimes go a little bit crazy on them. And you know, it doesn't really matter. They don't have to be even. Just kind of like a little bit centered because you're going to cut your tassel down to where you want it. So this isn't going to stay very neat. I can see that already. It's not staying neat. Hope you're all having a good day. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It's good here. I love it. Some of these are a little bit shorter. So if they're a little bit shorter, they're not quite long enough, then I just kind of overlap them like this. So I tuck those on the inside. Because sometimes you want to use that piece, but that piece isn't long enough. Let's see here. It's hard to see the differences in color, but it just kind of shows up. Shows up after you're all complete. You've completed it. It just hangs so beautifully. And you just kind of stagger them as you go. All right, so I'm going to put this together, and when I come back, I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed the other things that I'm going to need for this step. So I'm laying everything out, and I'm just kind of inspecting where everything is kind of situated. I love, love, love this stuff. It's so pretty. It frays on the end. It's going to be so pretty in this tassel. Sometimes though, when I see that, you know, I don't always like the short things just kind of sticking out like that. So I kind of try and tuck some of that in, but still let it peek out. And it doesn't really matter. Just kind of, to me, I don't know why it matters even to me, but I kind of like them to tuck in like that. All right, so I'm looking at this. And I added the lace, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful in there. It's so soft. So I like the way it looks. It's kind of all variegated. So now is the time. You're going to take this wire, and you're going to slip it underneath in the center. And what I do is, whoops, let's get a little bit more into frame here. what I do is bend this up. Bend it up like that. Bend it up and over like that. And then I just pick this whole thing up. I want to see what it looks like as a dangling tassel. What do I need to tuck in? You know, now you kind of do the detailed pieces of it so that it's variegated. And see, this one's like super long. So where does that belong? Where does that belong? So I pull it a bit. Oh, that's a real long one to begin with. Oh no, it's not. That's not that one. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that one out. Yeah, it was one of the shorter ones. And you can clip those pieces later. You can clip them out if you want. All right, so my lace, some of it, let's see, where's the center here? This is the fiddly stuff, you know, but this is the details of it, because soon you're going to be binding it up, and then you can't go back and fix things if you want to fix things. Now you can add more if you want, take out pieces if you want, switch it up. It's all good. All right, so I like that. So now I pull it tight. I'm pulling this really tight. Excuse me. And I'm bringing the wire over like this, and you're kind of doing a little bit of a closed loop. Pull on this as you're doing this, because you want to bring it around a few times so it's tight. There we go, it's tight. And then I just kind of nip it off a bit. There. All right, so now we have this. And before you put your bead cap on, just hold it up to yourself and ask yourself if you like that, because you can still change it right now. I mean, you can always change it, right? But it's a lot more work after you've done the bead cap. All right, so I went ahead. I had to go and grab all my bits and pieces. You do need some of your smaller bead caps too, which I forgot to mention because I got carried away with the bead cap. So you'll need some of that. And all the other little bits and pieces, I just brought over a few of them. And then I chose a bead. And I looked at them all, kind of held them up like this. And I love, love, love that one. I think that one, of all of them, just kind of wraps it all up. All right, so let's pop on the bead cap. Get this out of here. I need a bigger space. Oops. There. And then you push it down. You're going to push your bead cap down. Now, if you have smaller bead caps, like say something like this, that works too. Just pop it on like that. And it's so pretty. You work with what you have, because you can make that work. And it's so pretty. This is what I've used before on different tassels. I've made a lot of tassels already, but I never employed this technique. I always used other textiles. I've never dyed them to create them. So this works. This would be beautiful if you put your bead on. Look at that. See how pretty that is? There's also, and these ones are readily available because I go through so many of them. This one works too. See? It's so pretty. And at that point, if you want, when you use these smaller bead caps, you can wrap something around here. It's just really pretty. It's really limitless when you're making these. But I love using this method because it's just so simple. And then I do that, and now it's all snug. It's all in there snug. So if you wanted, you can leave it right here. You can leave it right here. All right, I just quickly had to go grab something. So at this point, you can do whatever you want. So I went and grabbed the my little multiple variable sized beads, the metal beads, and I popped that on, and then I popped this on, and it's, oops, sorry. It's really, really pretty. That finishes it off gorgeously. I really like that. Love it, love it. But I made them with the beads before, so that's what this commission saw them, and so I'm going to use beads. So let me see, what do I want to do next? Okay, I hope I brought enough. Oh, it looks like I dropped them already. Yeah, I had already dropped them. All right, so I'm going to pop one of these on. Just want to see how I work that. First, actually, I want to pop. Oh, I dropped a whole bunch of stuff. All right, we're going to try just like that. Just like that. I want to pop one of these on first. So I'm going to take the rondelle, the rhinestone rondelle. I'm going to pop that on. Then I'm going to pop on a bead cap. And this is just like a dangle, what I'm doing now. Oh, that's really pretty. That was a really big bead cap, and I just bent those little tines up. All right, I'm quickly going to show you something. So that bead cap was like this, and it doesn't sit a bead very well. It sticks out too far. So in cases like that, if you're careful and very gentle, just bend the petals up slightly. And I do this on these bigger ones, and I just bend all of the little petals up. And it makes such a difference to the bead. I can't use these big, I don't have beads big enough for these bead caps. I don't know what I was thinking when I got some of those other bead caps. I don't know. I don't even know where they all came from. All right, so I have bent them up a little bit more. You can see, made it into a cup. And then it fits the bead perfectly. All right, that's just a little trick. All right, so what do I want to do? Oh, I might even want to use that one. I love, love, love these when I do that. Oh, it's really pretty. Okay, but what about this one? All right, so what do I want to do though? That's going to tell me what I need to do. So I want to pop that on. I think I like this one. I'm glad I bent the extra one up. I do. I really like that. Yes, I do like it. All right, now you find yourself one of these. I mean, you can make these as long as you want. It doesn't matter. But I don't want it too long because it's already so long. Oh, I love it. Okay, so now we're going to make the loop. Then we're going to be done. I'm sorry this has taken so long, but there's so many steps to this, to prepare to make one of these, that I just needed to go through some of that. At this time, I have not prepared silks in the variety of colors. I don't have time. I did this for me as a project because I wanted to do a Valentine project that included smaller tassels. And I just never got to it. And so all those pink packages became just pink packages. And that was that. All right, so now I'm going to clip this off. There. All right, so She looks very, very beautiful. And now I'm going to trim just a little bit. Not too much, just some. Just to get a little bit of a haircut. Like that. Oops, that needed it too. You don't have to be too picky about that, because you can trim it up later too. But it just looks so much neater on the end. It's got all the beautiful layers to it. And I just need to add a piece of, I don't know if it'll be this exactly. I'm just going to tear that down. I'm so happy with the silks that I have, the dyed silks. They tear, when I dye them, they tear so lovely. And that's where I get all of those gorgeous, gorgeous threads from that I make into those boho beads, which is something, those fiber boho beads, which is something I'm going to be doing here in probably a little bit later. Get some of my packages out that requested the boho beads. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this into there. And then you tie it off. It's so pretty, 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 pretty. All right, so I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'm sorry I can't tell you where everything comes from, because that would be nothing short of a miracle that I would remember those kinds of things, right? Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, what's left of it, and I will be back sometime later. Bye-bye.